There's so much good music going on around here.
Let's hear from our studio audience now.
Yes. You're going to want to see that.
That is some groovy intro music.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. It's a running tab. Leave us a voicemail at 970-579-0843.
Welcome to Sound On Podcast. Sound On brings you all of your Boulder County music news, who's playing where and when. We also bring you exclusive artist interviews, jam sessions, album releases, and more. If you're an artist or venue and would like to have your show featured, email us info@soundonpodcast.com. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Dave. It's beautiful in Longmont now.
It is. It's like 60 degrees today. That's going to be the high.
Ooh, it's time to get those swimming trunks out and
That's
hop
right.
in Lake Mac.
Let's go right now.
Mr. John Bunzli is putting out his new album, 4. It's out everywhere now. And the album release party is March 30th at Grossen Bart Brewing. And we're going to pull from the archives and show our conversation with him that we had back in November.
Yeah, and he played us a couple songs and talked about how he got started in music. So we thought it'd be good to re-feature the man, if you will.
Re-feature. And it's a beautiful sounding record. And it's going to be a fun show Saturday.
Yeah, we're both going to be playing some tunes with him.
Yeah.
There's going to be a ton of Longmont and Boulder musicians there. So, yeah, it's going to be the show to be at.
Absolutely. Shall we get to the music calendar?
Let's do it. Today, Wednesday, March 27th at 300 Suns Brewing. The Drop In Acoustic Jam is at 6 p.m. Over at Rosalee's Pizzeria, the Dirty Duo is at 7 p.m. At the Root Kava Co, Random Temple at 9 p.m. And at the Laughing Goat, Fort Vine and Tom West at 8 p.m.
On to Thursday, March 28th, George Nelson Band will be playing License Number 1 at 9 p.m. Our friend Andy Eppler is hosting 3-chair jam at Longmont Public House at 6 p.m. Over at St. Vrain Cidery, we've got Dave Miller and the Front Range Band at 6 p.m.
On Friday the 29th at Georgia Boys Barbecue, the Strangebyrds at 7 p.m. At Bootstrap Brewing, the Cymbals at 6 p.m. At the Dickens Opera House, south to Cedars with Sugar Britches and the Wyatts at 8 p.m. And at Still Cellars, music by Sean Cunane and art opening at 6:30 p.m.
Over at the Roost, we've got Mackey playing solo at 8:30 p.m. Over the Tasty Weasel Grateful Dog sessions, that is dog with a W, at 5 p.m. The Hazel Miller Band will be at Cafe Soleil at 6 p.m. Estilla Dawn and Cosmic Collective will be playing the Laughing Goat. And over at Oscar Blues Boulder, Mini Mountains will be playing at 7:30.
Saturday, March 30th at the Gold Hill Store, Kate Farmers at 5 p.m. Banshee Trees playing at License Number 1 at 9 p.m. At the Laughing Goat, Eli Pafumi, Ethan Midland Jones, and Lucas Wolf at 8 p.m. At Gun Barrel Brewing Company, Abby Elmore Band at 7 p.m. And at Bohemian Beer Garden, Glovebox Money at 10 p.m.
Over at Oscar Blues Homemade Liquids and Solids in Longmont, we've got the Big Thompson Flood at 8 p.m. Joe Cool Band will be playing the Wild Game in Longmont at 8 p.m. Peak to Peak will be at the Tasty Weasel at 4:30. And Thomas Gronberg will be at La Vida Bella in Longmont at 7 p.m.
Moving on to Sunday, the 31st of March at Grossen Bart Synesthesia Quartet at 4 p.m. At the Dickens Opera House, the Colorado Blues Society IBC Challenge at 1 p.m. Scott Vaughn's playing at Left Hand Brewing at 4:30 p.m. Grant and Tone at 5 p.m. at the Tasty Weasel, and finishing it off at the Laughing Goat with the Outside Voices, joined by Trace Jory and the Ocean Minded at 8 p.m.
On to Monday, April 1st, we'll have Harmony and Brad at the Pearl Street Pub at 9 p.m. And Seth Brand will be at the Laughing Goat at 8 p.m. Over to Tuesday, April 2nd, Mr. Andy Eppler is hosting open mic at Grossen Bart Brewery at 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah, that does it for the music calendar. And let's take it back to us 5 months ago.
Our guest is a Colorado-based singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. He's been gaining recognition for his tight, catchy songs, which often explore the darker sides of the human condition, but always do so with a sense of compassion and sincerity. He's also a gifted musician, and whether he's playing guitar, banjo, or ukulele, it's clear that his instrument functions almost like an extra limb. His vibrant, resonant voice is tailor-made for telling us tales of trials and tribulations of ordinary folks. We get in the studio of Mr. John Bunzli.
Howdy. It's good to be here. Thank you. Can I just say that sincere was the one word that came out of that bio. I'm a very sincere person. But anyway, thank you. I just want to crack jokes all night, but the truth is I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome.
And,
I mean, you shouldn't let on. I think you should play the character of someone who's bitter and you're doing us a favor.
All right, then. No, I mean, seriously, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I had a chance to listen to the first podcast, and I thought it was really cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Did I just hear a cat meow?
You did. That's our other co-host, Simon.
Right.
No, actually, he is the, you're going to hate this, producer.
Oh, yeah.
I will be here all night.
What were those little drums that they had like in the late 80s or something that went like this? Boom, 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 boom.
Just like some MIDI weird.
Yes. MIDI weird.
Yeah. ZZ Top 80s stuff.
Drums.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Hey, man, so this is your fourth album that's coming out, and it's called Four.
I know.
Correct?
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
I mean, I figured they say that the public has a brief attention span. And I thought, I don't want them, thinking too hard about the title. It's called Four, damn it. Listen to it.
Is the next one called Five?
I mean, let's take it one step at a time. But yes, it's called Four. It is my fourth record. And unless you stop me, I will talk about it because I'm really excited about it. So
I think that's why we're here, in part,
Please
is to hear you talk about this record.
What inspired you to write the songs that are on this album?
Damn, you hit me with that one first, huh? I don't really know. I kind of jokingly call songwriting like an incurable illness. It's just something that I'm driven to do. You can relate.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, and at some point in time, I think what happens is, I write on a regular basis. I mean, for me, I'm not like some kind of freaky Nashville person writing 200 songs a day or anything, but at some point in time, it feels like you get to a point of critical mass where you're like, well, shoot, I think I better put a record out. that it's not mysterious or anything. It's just like all of a sudden, hey, I think I've got enough songs here to make this happen, and that's what happened with this. And some of these songs have been ones that I've been holding on to for a couple of years, so it's pretty exciting to get them produced and out into the world, man.
How did you decide which? Because I'm assuming you've written more songs than are on the record in the past few years. How did you decide which ones were going to be the ones that were going to make this album?
I mean, that's an excellent question. I tried to go with the ones that I thought sucked the least. Yeah, I think it was a constantly developing list, and I think it changed over a period of time. As a matter of fact, the 13th, there was supposed to be 12 songs on the record, and the 13th song was one that was written after I started recording the record. And I talked to my co-producer, Tom, and I said, hey, man, I got this song I kind of dig, but we shouldn't put it on the record, right? And he listened to it, and he said, we should totally put it on the record. And then, like, a little bit later in the process, I wrote another one, and I thought, oh, shit, no. Got to stop. Because then that one would take the place and bump something else off, and it just kind of constantly shifting,
And next it would be a box set,
I mean, yeah, and they say that people don't buy CDs anymore, so I know, let's put like 5 of them out at the same time instead of just one. That sounds like a good business plan, yeah.
Right. So
speaking of which, buy my CD.
So when is the album coming out?
That's an excellent question, too. So, if you guys are really interested in this, I am doing a last-minute fundraising campaign because it costs money to make a record. And I'm down to the 3 M's, which is mixing, mastering, and manufacturing. And I mean, find me on Facebook, Bunzli.
I'll put that in the show notes too. So
John.
anybody that's listening, you can click on John's website in the show notes.
Anybody who's like memory is challenged for any reason still has a resource where they can find that, which I think is awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's your process like when you sit down to write a song? Is it lyrics first? Is it the riff first? I mean, what comes to you?
Excellent question. Excellent question. And I like questions like this because the answer is yes. I would say, that it is a little different from song to song. It often comes from messing around on guitar. When I'm practicing, I'll play a few songs and then I'll mess around for a few minutes. And then I'll play a few songs and I'll mess around. And out of those mess arounds, sometimes something happens. And sometimes it'll develop into a riff, but other times it will spark a lyrical thought. I want to share a technique with you that I learned at this really cool thing called Song School. And there's a guy there who teaches this technique. I don't think he made it up. I think it's something that other people teach. But it's where, like, you have an idea of something that you think might be central to your song. Let's say, for example, that we were going to write a song about this really cool microphone that you have right here. We would take a piece of paper, and in the middle of it, we would write really cool microphone. And then we would start writing words around that came into our brain without thinking about it at all. And then you do that for a little while it's exciting. And then you stop and you kind of read your words and you pull some of those out and I'll end up with like 4 or 5 pages that a normal human being would not be able to read. And I have a little difficulty. What the? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the second verse, man. Yeah. But what it kind of does is it kind of creates a real mini micro language that's around the idea that you've been thinking about. And so when you actually get to writing the song, you have all these rich words that are just sitting out there waiting to be picked and popped in. So that's one thing that I do sometimes that's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
I've never heard of anybody having a system quite like that.
He calls it clustering.
Who was it? It's on
Paul Reisler.
Paul Reisler.
Paul
Okay.
Reisler, yeah. I thought, the first time I heard that, I said, cluster f***ing? But no, just clustering.
I talked to Antonio Lopez, and he has, I think, maybe learned the same process from Paul, and I do something similar now too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Where did you first hear of it?
From Antonio, I think. It was just like, but I'm guessing it was Song School, and he heard it from.
I'm just getting led
Paul.
on to this.
I wish I had, if I'd thought about this, if I'd thought about knowing what you were going to ask me and what I was going to say before the fact.
That's part of the fun.
We're going to keep you on
I would
your
have brought
toes.
a sheet of paper just to show you, because sometimes I show it to people and they just kind of go, okay, whatever.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, let's play some music off the new album.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first time that this is getting played out in the space. Is that right?
Oh, my God, yes.
Wow, awesome. So
This is the world premiere.
it
man.
is. It is.
Awesome.
So we're going to hear Sometimes We Fly from John Bunzli's new album, 4.
The tree is bare, the sun is going down. Horizon's dark and gray. Just like wheels keep going round and round. Another year, another day. I turn my head and you're still standing there. You know I never thought you'd stay. So I take you in my arms and we fall down. For a while we fly away. Sometimes life can be so hard you think you'll never win. It knocks you down, you don't know why. Sometimes it feels like we'll never see the sun again. Sometimes we fly. Yeah, we fly, fly, yeah, we fly. Oh, we fly, yeah, we fly, oh, we fly. We lie still, moon shadows, blue and black, dancing on the wall. And your fingers trace the scars on my back. And we fly before we fall. Sometimes life can be so hard, you think you'll never win. It knocks you down, you don't know why. Sometimes it feels like we'll never see the sun again. Sometimes we fly. Yes, sometimes we fly. And yeah, we fly. Fly, oh we fly. Oh we fly. Fly, yeah we fly. Oh we fly. Fly, yeah we fly. Oh we fly.
Wow, fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've obviously heard that before, but I enjoy the mix on it, the instrumentation, the arrangement. I think it's a good tune.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely certain, but that might just be you playing drums on there, David.
Yeah, you're giving me away, man. I was trying to compliment my own tune. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was really fun. John came in, and I had not heard these songs before. Maybe a couple of them in passing, but we just did a session one day with his producer, and it was great.
You know, it's such a cool time to be at the end of a project. The time leading right up to the end of the project, not necessarily the coolest time, because you have listened to these songs for, God knows how many times you've heard them, and then you've listened to the recordings of them over and over again, and you've listened to them on a level of detail which normal human beings don't do. And that's what we have to do. That's how we get, the music to be as good as we can get it. But it's kind of an insane process. And, when you're listening to a mix, well, first you have to listen to it, on your stereo. Then you have to listen to it on a set of good headphones. Then you have to listen to it on a set of shitty earbuds. Then you have to take it out to your car. There's probably other places too.
Talk about listening to it in David Glasser's studio.
Well, I mean, okay, that it sounded pretty cool.
It did. I was there for that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much those speakers cost, but I know I don't have any of them at home.
I feel like Dave looked up the cost of the speakers, and
I did, and I'm not sure.
I think it was
it was in the several thousands.
I think it was
$.
At least 5 of my cars is how much they cost.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's the last sort of step that you do is you master it, and we happen to be, I think, very lucky. You talk about, this is a show about the music community in this area.
Right.
And not only are there a bunch of great singer-songwriters and great bands and stuff like that, but there's also a lot of really great professionals. And, to have and I'm just going to slip this in here real subtly, to have a Grammy Award-winning engineer work on your project is pretty cool. And to have them, just in the foothills outside of Boulder. It was a beautiful drive up there, a nice day, and he made the record sound just a little bit sweeter, which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And the room that he works in is beautiful too. Hey man, so what brought you to playing guitar? And I mean, you play other instruments, but I think it's safe to say that's your main instrument.
Yeah, I would say so, sure.
So what brought you to that?
I mean, this is going to sound weird, but it's the true story. Which, by the way, interviews are different than songs. I feel somewhat compelled to stick kind of straight to the truth here in the interview thing. The songs, you don't have to do that, which is cool. But so the true thing that happened was when I was 16 years old, I had a dream. It was a very vivid dream, a very powerful dream. I could not, for the life of me, tell you specifically anything about the dream other than when I woke up the next morning, I was like, I have to get a guitar. I mean, it was this very compelling, driving, weird thing. And it just so happens that the timing was such that I was at boarding school and I was going to be taking a break and hooking up with some family. And my sister had this cheap-ass little guitar from Mexico that she had played for like 2 weeks or something when she had told my parents that she had to have one, And I was like, hey, can I have that guitar? And then I just started. Then it ruined my life because basically I just started obsessively playing it and have done nothing since then except that.
So for myself playing guitar, it's like lock yourself in a room and play along to the album sort of thing. Have you had that experience?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's an interesting thing. I mean, what the hell? Let's get real for a second here. High school, teenagedom, for the best people, it can be a difficult time of life. Yeah, I wasn't the best person. It was a difficult time of life for me. I moved a lot. I was never in one place for more than 2 years for the first 18 years of my life. And the guitar was this lock yourself in the room and become sane and have this anchor. I think I was a little weird socially when I was a teen and into my early 20s. I was the guy who would go to like the high school dance and go stand in front of the guitar player and watch his hands. And people think I'm weird. I'd be like, oh, I just learned 3 or 4 riffs, man.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you do? I saw you dancing with... No, anyway.
When did that start turning into your own songs? When did the hours in the bedroom start turning into your own songs?
Well, I wrote my first song. It was a co-write. This is really funny. My first song was a co-write, man.
Oh, wow.
And it was in a treehouse it was pretty good height up, 25 to 30 feet up in the air. And it was in New Hampshire. And it was shortly after I started playing guitar. I had this mentor, kid down the hall who was like, I can show you some stuff, man. Look at this. We learned, that song by Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Mm-hmm. And it has that little acoustic guitar intro that everybody knows. Down, 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 down,
Yes.
So he taught me the rhythm part and he knew the lead part. And we practiced it a little bit. And we used to go knock on guys' doors in the dorm. Just knock on their door and they'd open the door and we'd go and just start playing. Play that little thing. But anyway, we ended up in the top of this treehouse after having drunk, I think, between the two of us, like maybe a 6-pack of this nectar of the gods at that point in time in our lives. It was called Miller Genuine. No, it wasn't even. It was Miller High Life. It wasn't even the genuine draft. Man.
Yeah.
It was before GD.
Uh-huh.
The High Life. And what happened was we were up in the tree playing guitar, getting drunk, and this fat New England cop came to the bottom of the tree. I can't do a New England accent. It'd be really funny if I could because now you kids get the hell out of that tree. And we're like, come up and get us, fatso. I know, it's not kind, but we were
That's
like,
pretty good.
We were 16 or something. And so the cop eventually split because we wouldn't come down and he didn't want to climb up, I don't blame him. It was like 30 feet in the air. He could have fallen and hurt himself. Then the pension. Well, anyway, the point is this: after he split, we wrote a song called "You Gotta Be Free, Man."
Ooh, hippie man.
And
love, man.
That was my first song, and I think it was probably a year after that before I wrote another song. It was a really slow thing, Tim, until I went to an organization called the Durango Songwriters Expo. And I went in there. I had recorded my first real record, and I can tell you the truth, I was a little cocky. I thought I was kind of hot shit. I got my new record, man. And I went in, and there was all these other people who were way, 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 way better than I was. And I started thinking, okay, what's the difference? Did they get born that way? What's going on? And come to find out that a lot of them worked really, 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 really hard. Mm-hmm. And so I started writing a lot more songs at that point in time, and my output is a little more than one per year now. But not up to those pro guys in Nashville write sometimes two times a day, 5 songs a week.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
That is insane.
I'm always interested in that balance between the writing so many songs in one day and also finding like the magic in it that only happens every so often. Was there a song on this record or like a time writing the songs on this record where you felt that magic more than others?
Think about that one for a second. Well, you know what? I think there was a little magic, honestly. Songwriting is a magic thing, man, because you start with nothing. You start with absolutely nothing, and something pops into your head. And then the next thing you know, it becomes a song. And sometimes the thing that pops into your head is a very unlikely thing. Like, so the song that you played, Sometimes We Fly, I was sitting at a kitchen table of an ex-girlfriend, and it was a dark and dreary winter morning. And there was this tree outside the window, and it was bare because it was winter and there's no leaves on it. And I go, oh, look at that cool tree. I should write a song about that. And I did, and I mean, it became about a lot of other things, obviously.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it can, it really can just come like that sometimes. Tim, I think the thing about it is, and I think there's, arguments to be made on all sides of the thing. I think part of people who write a lot like that, what they say is, you can't give a fuck about every single song that you write when you're writing 2 songs a day or 5 songs a week or whatever. It's just impossible. And that's somewhat freeing. Mm-hmm. And then and every once in a while you go, well, hell, look at that. That's, I think, sort of the theory behind that school.
Yeah.
John Bunzli's here. We're playing some music off of his new album, 4. And we're going to check out this next song, which is called The Next Time. And after that, John is going to play us a tune off the album on his banjo here in studio.
I feel you coming, so I start running. My heart is pounding in my chest.
Can't let you catch me, let you possess me. Can't let you do what you do best.
No. Till you need me the next time.
But then you touch me, my senses flood me. Your fingers burn, they sear my skin.
And I feel your hunger, you pull me under. Can't help myself from sinking in. No. Oh, 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 if I let you take me, or you just keep me hanging till you need me the next time. Want you, and I want you. I am burning with desire. You have got the flame to feed my fire. If I let you take me, or you just keep me hanging, you just keep me hanging, you just keep me hanging till you need me the next time.
That's a rockin' track, man.
Well, thank you so much, sir.
Who is singing on the other lead vocal with you?
Thank you so much for asking. I was just thinking I got to talk about Jenny, which actually, if you don't mind me encapsulating here for a moment, brings up a bigger point for me that is something that I think is cool about the community or even communities of which I'm a part along the Front Range, in Denver, in Boulder, little one in Loveland, big one in Longmont, is just how many great people there are out there, how many talented people there are out there, and how many people are interested in collaborating with other people. When I was thinking about what song to play, to bring into play on the show, I thought of one called "I'm Still Alive" that I wrote with you, Tim.
Yes.
And Jenny Shawhan is the name of that singer, and she's a singer-songwriter from Denver, has an amazing voice. Just a whole plethora of people that were kind enough to come and play on my record. I don't want to sit here and name drop for hours, but a lot of really cool cats came in to play. And I don't know, it's just, it makes it stronger, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing that actually influenced my decision to move here was because of the great supporting community. And that's one of the reasons why we decided to do the show, is because people are so supportive and they want to get out and see music, and they want to know where things are going on at. So it's very cool. It's a great place.
And I gotta say just one more thing on the question of collaborators and who's on the record, because a really cool thing happened for me. I've been working on this record for a little while. For a number of different reasons. It's kind of been coming along in chunks. My buddy Tom, who's helped me make the record, lives on the East Coast, and he comes out here every once in a while, and when he comes out, we just get as much work done as we can. Anyway, in the middle of this process, I bumped into some really cool people and formed a new band. And it was early enough in the recording process that we were talking about you, David, being on there, and also Derek Kirkman and Kate Gregory, bass and fiddle players, both were able to come in and play on some of the tracks. And that was just really cool, too. That feels really cool. And plug, I got a new band. Come see me play sometime.
We're playing at the Rialto on the 9th.
Friday. Oh, my God.
Friday.
This Friday.
I better go learn some songs, man.
Me too. Hey, we got to get off this thing, man. We got to
God.
Tim, can you carry it from here?
Yes. So John, what was the process like making this record? Well, I can't impersonate you, John. I'm sorry. You guys have to stick around.
Well,
ooh, he's got that radio voice.
I find that to be a very intriguing question.
Oh, delicious.
Hey, would you play us a song on the banjo?
Absolutely. Hold on here. I'm going to do a song called Red Hill Road. Yeah, just a quick note about the instrument that I'm playing it on here, since we don't have cameras. Kind of sounds like a banjo. Well, it is. It's a 6-string banjo, which means that it is kind of strung and tuned like a guitar. And it just has a very different sound, different tone from like a bluegrass 5-string banjo, which is brighter, and rollicking. And this one's kind of dark, which suits my personality, so it's awesome. So here you go, man. This one's called Red Hill Road. Amber came over one day saying she was done. She was dying slowly, choking in this town. But she'd had a brilliant vision, and her eyes were dark and cold. Down on Red Hill Road. There's a house up on the hill where the fancy people live. She said we should go and take what they won't give. Look at it as sharing, we just have to be bold. Down on Red Hill Road. Well, I stood on the lookout, I'd wait for her for sure. She'd go in through a window and open up the door. But the muzzle flashed and the rifle roared, and I was running through the cold. Down on Red Hill Road. Down on Red Hill Road. Amber don't come by to hang out anymore. Me, I end up most nights passed out on the floor. What were we thinking? Well, we should have thought some more. Down on Red Hill Road. Down on Red Hill Road. Down on Red Hill Road. Down on Red Hill Road.
Thanks, John.
You bet you. Thanks so much for having me on the show, you guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. That was beautiful.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Is Red Hill Road a real place?
I mean, it totally is, dude. You want me to tell the story behind that
I
one?
would like to hear that story.
Oh, boy. Okay. So, the names probably haven't been changed to protect the innocent, but let's see what we can do here. I was heading up to, I got a really cool girlfriend. And when we were first getting together and, in that phase where you're not exactly sure how things are going to go, we went up to this cabin in the mountains. Very romantic, right? And we were late, so it was pretty dark when we got there, and we were lost. And there were street signs, but they were like way the heck off of the road, and this was like this dirt road, and there were no lights at all, and you couldn't see it. So I jumped out of the car with my little flashlight on my phone, and there's this like rusty old sign with bullet holes in it, and it says Red Hill Road. And I knew two things. I knew we were pretty close to getting to the cabin, and that was going to be the title of my next song. So I created an entire story in my head about crime and punishment, and sat down to write the song. And I was out on the deck. She was inside reading a book. And there's this thing that happened. See if you can relate to this, Tim. When you're writing a song that'll have a person's name in it, unless you start with a specific person, that you're writing about, it's like you've got to find the right name.
Yeah.
And so there was this woman who was in this song who was totally a criminal and totally going to die before the song was over. and I couldn't find her name, and I kept singing different names. And for me, it's about how it sings. It either clicks or whatever. And I kind of looked in at the couch, and there's this woman whose name is Amber. And I go, Amber. Uh-oh.
She's gonna have to murder my girlfriend.
Yeah, beautiful. And there's that other thing too. The first song you write for somebody, and they're all like, it's anyway really romantic. And so I go in and I said, okay, I wrote a song and your name's in it, and okay. And I think her response was something like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And I thought, this might work. So there's, I think, an example of what we were talking about earlier in terms of how, somebody was making this fun of this really, really brilliant songwriter who did some classes at songwriting school. It was somebody who was dressed up as him as Halloween. And they were like, look, man, it's a leaf. It's a leaf. You could write a song about this leaf, man. Any idea who I'm talking about?
I think I do know who you're talking about.
The name Steve Pulse shall be
Steve Pulse. Someone dressed up as him for Halloween?
What's his name?
That's
Taylor.
Amazing.
Taylor Sims.
Oh, that's incredible.
He had white hair.
know that.
He had a white wig.
That's so good.
It was beautiful. But there's truth to this. A street sign can spark a whole story in your head that then ends up becoming a song. And it's awesome. It's cool. It's magic. And, thank you guys for talking about this stuff, and everybody who's out there listening to this. Thank you for listening to it. And definitely check out my record and, come and see shows, but not just me, everybody who's on the show and everybody else who's out there doing that music thing, man.
John Bunzli's new album 4 is coming out very soon. Check out his Facebook page and his Kickstarter. Is there anywhere else that we should know to find you?
Here's the thing, man. I'm doing it DIY this time, so it's not really a Kickstarter. It's called the John Starter. And I know it is. Really, it is. It's like there's a web page, and it has my address on it if you want to send me a check, and it has a link to PayPal if you want to, do it through PayPal. And there's a list of whatchamacallums. They call them rewards. Mm-hmm. No, but thank you, because I completely forgot about this one thing that's totally cool.
Tell us.
I know you're going to edit it out of the show, but I'm going to say it anyway.
It's
now
all
or not?
staying. It's all staying, yeah.
I live in a really cool place. I live in this building called Art Space in Loveland, and it is affordable housing for working artists. And so I'm surrounded by artists, a lot of cool people, and some of these wonderful neighbors of mine have donated pieces of art to me to use as rewards in the fundraising campaign. So it'll be like, you pay X amount of dollars and you get this beautiful painting, plus you get my CD. Yeah. And so it's organic. It's on my website, which is johnbunzli.com. So it would be /JohnStarter. I'm doing most of the promotion through Facebook, so I absolutely encourage you to find me and friend me there if that's a thing that you do. And I'm really excited about this art stuff. Just again, the giving nature of the creative community in this area, and how people are willing to help each other out. And I'm sure I'll be playing some shows at some art openings for some of these folks, Yeah. So thank you for giving me a chance to share that.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
John Bunzli's new album 4 coming out very soon. The single's Red Hill Road, right? That's the single?
Why not?
Thanks for being here, John. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, man. Really appreciate you shuffling things around and making it.
No, this is a priority for me. Thank you for having me in, and I'm really excited. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I've never been a podcast guy before, and I'm going to be doing whatever it is that you do to make sure that I get yours coming on
Perfect.
in. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. If you'd like to get your show on Sound On Podcasts, email us at info@soundonpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.